Hello, viewers. The most frequently asked question that I've encountered in the comment section on this channel has something to do with MRCS. So, recently I uploaded a video where I took stock of the 2 years that have elapsed since I passed MRCS in May 2023. Today is the 1st May of 2025. It's been 2 years. So, I felt like I should go back and look at the comments I've received related to MRCS, and I want to make one single video where I answer all those relevant questions because I feel similar questions are asked repeatedly. Although I don't mind answering each of those questions, I feel I've already answered them in some of my videos. So I feel this video would be a one stop solution where all of the commonly asked questions related to MRCS can be answered, and this video will prove useful to anyone who's seeking guidance regarding the intricacies of the MRCS process. So, without further ado, let's look at the first question. This is from Ria Panchal, 2310. It was asked 8 months ago. Sir, I am an MBBS third year student and plan to do residency in the UK. So, is it advisable for me to take the MRCS after my MBBS so as to increase my chances of entering into the UK healthcare system, as surgery is quite competitive to get in, keeping in mind the job saturation in the NHS setup? I think it is the right decision. I feel the only two questions you should ask yourself before seriously considering or before applying for MRCS is, do you want to become a surgeon? And number two, do you want to work in the UK? If the answer to both these questions is yes, you want to be a surgeon and you want to work in the UK, then you should apply for MRCS. It seems like a no brainer to me because the eligibility for MRCS is just MBBS. If you have passed MBBS, if you have the MBBS degree certificate, you are eligible to appear in MRCS. All that is required is the college that you have obtained your MBBS degree from should be in the World Directory of Medical Schools. Is your college in the World Directory of Medical Schools? That you can find out online. Search World Directory of Medical Schools. Go to the website. On the World Directory of Medical Schools website, type in the name of your college in the search bar, and if the name of your college pops up on the list, then yes, your college name is in the World Directory of Medical Schools and you are eligible to appear in MRCS. You don't need clinical experience, you don't need to do post graduation. That is not necessary to appear in MRCS or to appear in the second part of MRCS. MRCS is two parts. The Part A is a multiple choice question exam. Part 2 is an OSCE pattern exam. MRCS Part A, the eligibility criteria is passing MBBS, and MRCS OSCE, the eligibility criteria is having passed MRCS Part A. Nowhere is it mentioned, at least not in my experience, where that you have to have clinical experience or postgraduate experience to appear in MRCS. That's just not true. This is a question from Rohit GS1CO. It was asked 11 months ago. Is it possible for a MBBS student to pass all steps of MRCP slash MRCS without pursuing MD slash MS in India? What will be the position of MRCP or MRCS cleared student in UK? Again, very intelligent question. If somebody, so first question is, yes, it is possible for an MBBS student to pass all steps of MRCS. I cannot comment on MRCP because that is not the exam I have passed. So an MBBS student can pass all steps of MRCS without pursuing MS in India. And the position of the person with MRCS, so if you have passed MRCS, you are eligible to apply for all jobs in the UK that are not consultant level. As long as it is not a consultant level job, you are eligible to apply for all jobs in the NHS. That means you can apply for the ST3 level job, which is the first year of postgraduate training, to simplify things, or you can apply for a SHO level job, core training job, any job that you think you want to take. I would advise you should not have any strict requirements for your first NHS job because it is very difficult to get into the NHS as it is. If you add your own filters to it, that you're not going to take this job or you're not going to take that job, it only makes the task more difficult for you. So as long as it is not a consultant job, you can get any job in the UK after passing MRCS as long as you are shortlisted and you do well in the interview. And I don't think you need, sometimes I feel that people think that you need a lot of experience to do well in the interview, but I will tell you the secret. There is such a thing as being too qualified for a job. So if you have a lot of experience, that may paradoxically be detrimental to your chances of getting into the NHS. So I will not say for a moment that it is very straightforward to get an NHS job. It's a very difficult process, it's very competitive, but it is not impossible because I know many people who have secured jobs in the NHS. Good jobs. Next question is, sir, MRCS payment কোন কার্ড দিয়ে করব? আমার কাছে SBI ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ডেবিট কার্ড আছে, ডেবিট কার্ড দিয়ে কি পেমেন্ট হবে? না ক্রেডিট কার্ড? না ক্রেডিট কার্ডই লাগবে? So for those who don't understand Bengali, this is a question regarding how to pay for MRCS. Is it okay to pay for it through an international debit card, or is a credit card mandatory? So this is a very pertinent question. International debit card is good enough to pay for exam fees. However, if you're paying for GMC registration, then you do need a credit card. What is GMC registration? So if you have passed MRCS and now you want to work in the UK, that is not enough. You have to first pass MRCS, then you have to pay the Royal College of Surgeons to become a member of the Royal College of Surgeons. Then you have to get your documents verified by EPIC, which is an American organization which will verify your documents for a fee paid in American dollars. You'll have to pass an English language proficiency test, either IELTS or occupational English test. And then you have to obtain a good standing certificate from your state medical council in your home country. It may be India, it may be any other country. Once you've got all these three things done, then you can apply for registration with the General Medical Council. That is the body which governs the practice of medicine in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. If you do not have GMC registration, then you cannot practice medicine in the UK. So some people apply for GMC registration and then they start applying for jobs. And when they get the job, they finalize the registration. Some people just apply for GMC registration and don't go for the license to practice medicine, because license to practice medicine is only required if you want to practice medicine in the UK. And people like me, I got the full GMC registration with a license to practice medicine in the United Kingdom in approved practice settings in March of 2024. A year elapsed, I did not get a job, so I had to surrender my license to practice medicine, because at the end of 1 year you have to renew it, and in order to renew the license you need to get some sort of validation from an authority in the UK, a designated authority in the UK, which you can only get if you get a job. Now I did not get a job in the first year despite applying to several places, so I surrendered my license to practice medicine, which I can theoretically renew. I hope I'll be able to. Next question is, sir, you said 6 months is the time required, but how many hours to study on daily basis? Kindly reply. This is probably in relation to the MRCS Part A. Now, I'll answer this in relation to both MRCS Part A and MRCS ENT OSCE. For MRCS Part A, I think you need to target 50 multiple choice questions every day, and you can gradually increase that. Towards the end of my preparation, I dedicated 7 days, all waking minutes, to studying the last 7 days before the exam. However, for the first 6 months or so, I was doing 50 to 100, sometimes 200 multiple choice questions in a day. The key thing is to focus on each question as it's a serious exam question, not like you're just practicing so you can resort to guesswork. That will not help. So be serious about each question you solve and try to solve at least 50 every day, and then try to build from that. Once you get into the habit of solving 50 multiple choice questions every day, soon you'll realize that you are solving 60 questions, 70 questions, 80 questions, and I think 6 months of dedicated effort would be enough. The next question is, from where should we prepare the principle of surgery section of the exam? So there are textbooks. There is this textbook called Pass Test, where there are 2 textbooks where the entire syllabus of MRCS Part A is covered. If you read these 2 textbooks properly, if you read these 2 books cover to cover, then you would have finished the entire syllabus of MRCS Part A. Basic sciences as well as principles of surgery, everything is covered in that book. However, I did not read that book. Although I had it, I did purchase it, but I did not read it. I chose MRCS and Pass Test as 2 online subscriptions, and I solved all the questions that were available in those question banks. and I solved them repeatedly. I read the explanations, I appeared in mock tests, I watched some of the recorded videos of anatomy that are available with past test online subscriptions, and it proved to be enough for me. There are others who have read the textbooks and passed. There are those who have opted for MRC Sala, which is a paid course, which I believe is the easiest way for you to pass MRCS Part A. Although, full disclaimer, I don't stand to gain financially if you pay for any online resource, whether it is in EMRCS or Past Test or MRC Sala. I aim to share my experience for free on YouTube. That is my only goal. I do understand that some people have inquired about me whether I provide paid coaching for MRCS or not. I don't. Whatever I know about it, I share it freely on YouTube for free. And I answer all of your comments. So if you have any doubts, you can always ask me in the comment section. The next question was, what is the passing mark or percentage? So I cannot really tell you what the passing mark will be because it varies from exam to exam. For instance, when I passed the exam, the passing mark was 197 or 199 out of 300. I'm not sure the exact number because it's been a while, but it was either 197 or 199 out of 300. I got, I think, 210. So you can do the math, what the percentage works out to. But this varies. I have known about exams where the passing percentage has been 65%, 63%, and it's been 80% also. So it varies on the difficulty level of the question paper and the preparation level of the student. So you have to target somewhere north of 80%. If you target something higher than 80%, you will definitely pass MRCS Part A. Can you do MRCS just after MBBS? If yes, please, can you make video on it? So video number 46 on this channel is specifically titled MRCS after MBBS. And yes, you can do MRCS after MBBS. The only eligibility criteria for MRCS is having an MBBS degree from a medical college that is part of the World Directory of Medical Schools. And the only eligibility criteria for MRCS OSCE is passing MRCS Part A. This question is, hello, my friend. For me, I passed MRCS A. I want to enter MRCS ENT next October. Any issues regarding this? Can I enter this exam or there is a change? Thanks. So the reason why this question was asked is because I think MRCS ENT will be discontinued February 2026 onwards. So this question was asked 9 months back, which means that they are talking about October 2025. So yes, that exam will definitely happen. So there is no problem with that. Yes, you can apply for the MRCS ENT October 2025 question. For those of you who are thinking I'm only answering these questions 9 months later for the purpose of a new video, you are wrong. I have answered every single question in real time as soon as I get the notification, which I get in real time whenever somebody comments on YouTube, and I reply as at the earliest. I reply as quickly as I reply to any other notification, whether it is a instant messenger notification from a messaging app like WhatsApp. I reply instantaneously to the best of my ability. Of course, if I need to do a bit of research before answering, then I do that also. I don't answer. I usually answer in a well-reasoned manner. I don't say the first thing that comes to my mind. The next question from Muhammad Ahmad PN4HV asked 9 months ago was, hello, thank you for information. I have postgraduate in ENT. I am about to book MRCS Part A exam and I want your opinion. If I pass MRCS Part A, could I book for MRCS ENT OSCE in 2025? And I want to ask about the time needed for preparation for MRCS ENT. How many months needed and what is the sources to study? So this is a question specifically for MRCS ENT OSCE. Yes, it is possible to apply an MRCS ENT OSCE in 2025. It is not possible beyond February 2026. February 2026 will be the last MRCS ENT OSCE. After that, no more MRCS ENT OSCE. So if you still want to work as an ENT doctor, you have to appear in MRCS OSCE, which will largely be a general surgery based exam. So if you are from ENT background, you already have a post-graduation like Muhammad Ahmed has, then you need about 3 months to prepare for MRCS ENT OSCE, and the best resource would be Dr. Osama Salim's online course called Dawn's Masters course. That is something I personally benefited greatly from, so I can recommend it based on first-hand experience. Although again, Full disclaimer, if you opt for Dr. Osama's course, I don't stand to gain financially at all. This is free advice which does not benefit me financially. Unless lots of people view this video, then I might get some money from YouTube. Till date, I have got zero because this channel is not monetized. Next question is this is from Hagar751991. This was asked 3 weeks ago, and I believe I've answered this also. I am an intern doctor right now. I can apply for MRCS Part A in April 2026. So I can't apply for MRCS ENT before deadline, correct? So now I will have to do MRCS Part B, and then what to do to be ENT specialist, because I have set my eyes on ENT to be my specialty. First of all, I feel very good that there are people who have set their eyes on ENT to be their specialty. Thank you for the vote of confidence. And I'm not being sarcastic here. It's very reassuring to see that there are young people who want to become ENT surgeons. So this is a very legitimate question, because earlier the path was quite clear: MRCS Part A, MRCS ENT OSCE, ENT specialist or ENT specialty training in the UK. Now it's MRCS Part B or MRCS OSCE as it is called. So you have to appear in a general surgery based exam, and then if you want to do an ENT training, if you want an ENT training post or an ENT non-training post, then you, after passing the exam, you look for those posts. So you will still get specialty specific vacancies on the NHS job websites. There are many websites: NHS jobs, NHS track jobs. Track is TRAC. Those websites are there, and I have detailed videos talking about how to apply for jobs. So once you've passed both parts of MRCS, whether it is MRCS ENT OSCE or MRCS Part B, then you can apply for ENT jobs, ENT core training jobs, ENT specialty training jobs, ENT specialty doctor jobs. Any ENT job that is not a ENT consultant job, you can apply for in the NHS, and with your qualifications of passing MRCS, you are likely to get a job. It might take time, but you will get a job. The next question is from Asadullah 5551 1 year ago. Sir, can you become ENT consultant after clearing MRCS ENT in UK if you are IMG? Thank you, sir. IMG means International Medical Graduate, I guess, or it may also mean Indian Medical Graduate. I don't know what it means here. But the point is that you're not from the United Kingdom. So yes, if you have passed MRCS, you can become consultant, but not immediately. There are two ways of becoming a consultant in the UK after passing MRCS. One is going through the training pathway, getting the certificate of completion of training, appearing FRCS, and then becoming a consultant. That would take 6 years. 6 years of specialty training, then you pass FRCS, and then you get a certificate of completion of training, and then you become a consultant. There is a video of mine with Dr. Ishita Sen, who is currently working as an ENT doctor in the NHS, where she has detailed the pathway in great detail, very vivid detail. There's another pathway called the Caesar pathway, which is now called the portfolio pathway. In that, you join a non-training post, and then you build your portfolio to the extent that you become eligible to apply in the FRCS exam. Once you pass FRCS, you can become a consultant in the UK. So yes, you can become a consultant in the UK after passing MRCS, but not immediately after passing MRCS. The next question is from Aftab Lilodro 3890. 10 months ago, he asked me, can I take MRCS Part A during my internship? Bracket house job. Yes, you can, as long as you have the MBBS degree. Sometimes you get the MBBS degree before your internship. If you don't, then you can't. You need the MBBS degree certificate with you, and that MBBS degree certificate should be obtained from a college that is part of the World Directory of Medical Schools. Next question is from Shrudeep Vaishnav 4236, asked 10 months ago, if I join Dr. Osama's course, can I do it online or do I have to go to England? Bracket, I am from Bangladesh. So Dr. Osama's course is an online course. You don't have to go anywhere. You can take the course from the comfort of your own home. 9 months back, the question that I was asked by Dr. Murtaza Khan 4968 was, hey sir, I hope you will be great. Thank you. I hope you are great too. Sir, if someone has made his mind to surgical career after internship in NHS, what is best option for him, PLAB or MRCS, without any surgical experience? So this essentially boils down to what you think is good for you. PLAB is definitely a good option. But PLAB, I feel, is like if you are going to, if your goal is to reach the 20th floor, you can directly enter the 10th floor if you go through the PLAB pathway, and you can enter at the 13th floor directly if you pass MRCS. You ultimately have to reach the 20th floor to become a consultant. So, do you want to get into the 10th floor or do you want to get into the 13th floor is your choice. If you go through the PLAB pathway, you will have to pass MRCS subsequently, and then 6 years of training, then FRCS, then you become a consultant. If you get into MRCS, then you don't have to pass PLAB. However, PLAB is potentially easier to pass, and getting a job after PLAB is easier. But after getting the job, you have to study for MRCS and pass MRCS. So that's the thing. In MRCS, you have less exams, more difficult to get a job. In PLAB, you have to study more, easier to get a job. So I hope I've been able to answer that question adequately. It is a very difficult question, yes. Anusha Priya 7683 asked me 8 months ago, Sir, I am planning to do MRCS after MBBS and also planning to settle in India after MRCS degree. Will I be able to practice surgery in India with only MRCS degree and not MS? Is there any exam I'll have to sit again to practice here as a general surgeon? So, this is a very good question. And the short answer is no. You don't have to appear in another exam to practice as a general surgeon in India. And solution to that is you have to, so you're taking MRCS after MBBS, very good. You pass MRCS. Then you need to go to the UK. For you who has completed MBBS and now has passed MRCS, you won't be able to get any surgical training in India on the back of that. But on the basis of passing MRCS, you can get training in surgery in the UK. Now, some people might say that getting training jobs in the UK is extremely difficult. You might even get a non training job in the UK. To that, I say non training jobs usually in the UK are treated at par by the seniors as a training job, usually in most trusts. So while you're working in a non-training job or in a training job, you will be able to work towards passing FRCS. Once you have passed FRCS, you become a consultant in the UK. Your name can now go on the specialist register of the UK. Once your name is on the specialist register of the UK, you can continue working as a specialist in the UK, as well as you can return to India and work as a surgeon in India. The next question asked by Niharika 42024 4 months ago was, Hi sir, I did my MBBS from India, gave an attempt in NEET PG, got a seat in private medical college, not the preferred choice. I want to pursue my surgical career in the United Kingdom and settle down in the United Kingdom. What would you recommend, sir? MRCS after PG or directly go for MRCS without MS in India? Please kindly share your opinions, sir. So my opinion always is that if you want to go to the UK, go right away. Don't wait for MS in India, because MS in India does help you with the surgical knowledge. I suppose it gives you experience of how to be a surgeon, but that is not really counted as valid experience in the UK. So I would always suggest that if you want to go to the UK, if you have made up your mind, then you go there as soon as possible. So before MS, I would advise. But if you are already working in a private medical college, then wait for the course to end. You will have that experience. That experience will also add to your resume when you're applying for NHS jobs. The next question that was asked 3 months ago by Fine Sports 1068. Sir, if I do DNB surgery from India, will I be eligible for MRCS? And does holding MS has any bias while looking for job in the United Kingdom? So this is another inherent question. Yes, there is some degree of bias when it comes to MS versus DNB in India. There is no such bias in the UK. So yes, you'll be eligible for MRCS. Bay3M4N 2 months ago asked me, Hi, I want to do my surgical residency in the UK. I am from Pakistan. If clear both my MRCS part A and B, fresh out of house job, no other experience, what will the path after that look like? Will I get a training ST3 post for, will I have to work at a non-training post? Also, my goal is a quicker surgical residency from the UK. Should I opt for PLAB or MRCS? So this is a lot of questions. First question is, what will the path after passing MRCS Part A and B look like? So the shortest path after passing MRCS Part A and Part B is a 6-year specialty training course and getting a training job. For that, there is a single national ST3 interview, which is very competitive and very difficult to get in for international medical graduates, but not impossible. If you have a good portfolio and you can appear in that exam, in that interview, you can get a training job. And once you've completed 6 years of training in a specialty pathway, you can then become a consultant in the UK. However, if you have no other experience, then I suppose it will be difficult for you to get into a training job. You'll probably get a non training job. Once you're in non-training job, you have to gather enough evidence to appear in FRCS. And sometimes the non-training pathway takes less than 6 years. Sometimes it takes more than 6 years. It's not a structured curriculum like the training pathway. So that's the way. And if you ask me, should you opt for PLAB or MRCS? If you're not certain about becoming a surgeon, I would suggest PLAB. But if you're certain about becoming a surgeon, then MRCS, I feel, will be a shorter path for you. Although PLAB, as I mentioned, is an easier way to get a job than MRCS in the UK. 3 weeks ago, Deborah Nisi 111 asked me, "Hello doctor, I am an FMG student. If I passed FMG exam and complete internship, can I appear for MRCS without any surgical experience? I heard for MRCS Part B needs some clinical exposure." You heard wrong. You don't need surgical experience to appear in MRCS. The eligibility criteria for MRCS Part A is having an MBBS degree from a college that is part of the World Directory of Medical Schools. For MRCS Part B, the only eligibility criteria is having passed MRCS Part A. Now, to pass MRCS Part B, you might require some clinical exposure. If you have clinical exposure, it will certainly help you in passing MRCS Part B. But what other thing can help you in passing MRCS Part B? Coaching. If you take coaching, you can still pass MRCS Part B even if you don't have any clinical exposure. There is no mandatory requirement to appear in the exam that you need to have clinical exposure. But yes, if you have clinical exposure, it is easier for you to pass. It is also easy for you to pass if you have good coaching. Nilabo Shingupto asked me 10 months ago, "Hello sir, can you please tell me at which level will we be accepted, ST1, ST2 or ST3 if we pass MRCS after primary medical qualification?" So if you have passed MRCS, you are eligible for ST3 jobs. It doesn't matter what your previous experiences. However, if you would want to get more experience, so you might opt for ST1, ST2 jobs also. But you can get ST3 jobs if you have passed MRCS. Code Blue 1778 asked me 8 months ago, "I just completed my degree. Do I need 1 year of work experience for appearing in the exam? I heard people say there should either be 1 year of experience or wait for 2 years after graduation. Please clarify." So here's my clarification. You don't need 1 year of experience, or you don't need to wait for 2 years after graduation to apply for MRCS. Now, it is true that in many universities, including the university where I obtained MBBS from, you have to wait for a year to get the MBBS degree certificate. So that way, yes, you have to wait for 1 year. And most people in that 1 year do work. So in that way, they have 1 year of work experience. But that delay is not because 1 year of work experience is mandatory to appear in MRCS. That delay is because you have to wait for 1 year for your university in India to give you the degree certificate. So as long as you have the MBBS degree certificate and you have got the MBBS degree from a college that is part of the World Directory of Medical Schools, then you are eligible to appear in MRCS Part A. There is no clinical experience or work experience or waiting for 2 years criteria that is mandatory to appear in MRCS Part A. The only eligibility criteria that is mandatory is you should have an MBBS degree certificate from a medical college that is part of the World Directory of Medical Schools. And again, for the second part, only eligibility criteria is having passed MRCS Part A. Vruti Patel 4468 asked me 11 months ago, "Hi sir, just wanted to ask what difference does it make if you do PG and then give MRCS, although the correct English is take MRCS, or giving MRCS after MBBS, as I have heard Indian PG degree is not recognized in United Kingdom but only as surgical experience, and you would land up at ST2 level as it is after MRCS." So her rationale is 3 years of experience in India is only serving the purpose of surgical experience. So after MRCS, you won't get ST2. After surgical experience, you might get ST3. So for 1 year, is it worthwhile doing 3 years of post graduation in India, I suppose? So it's a fair question. It's a very intelligent question, and I understand where she is coming from. But the goal is, what do you want to do? If you want to be a surgeon in the UK, then appear in MRCS as soon as possible. Don't wait to do post graduation in India, in my opinion. You can get all your training from the people in the UK. However, the advantage of doing post graduation in India is you get a proper training in India, and because getting a job in the UK is very difficult and getting a training job in the UK is even more difficult, doing post graduation in India has an edge. The edge is you go there as a trained surgeon, and then you might have to work at a level that you might think is not commensurate to your experience. You might have to take a lower level job, if that makes sense. Maybe ST1, maybe ST2, maybe even lower than that. But getting the first job is very difficult. So I feel it's a fair trade off. You go there, you can demonstrate that you already are trained, and people will recognize that you are a safe surgeon, and that will help you in your career. It will help you progress very quickly. So there is merit in both arguments. If you are not able to get a postgraduate seat in India, or if you find it's very difficult, which it is, I'm not judging anyone who is finding it difficult to get a postgraduate seat in surgery in India, then you can of course go for MRCS and try to find a job in the UK NHS, which of course can be at an ST2 level, ST1 level, ST3 level, an entry level job also, because you don't require those years of training. If you don't get in, if you don't get training in India, you definitely need training in the UK. Next question by Ria M9K1T 5 months ago was, Hi doctor, if a post MBBS student take up MRCS and clear, we will end up with an ST3 job, which is first year of higher specialty training, by skipping the core clinical training part. Aren't post MBBS students at a bit of a disadvantage compared to post PG people in securing ST3 position? Definitely. Yes, the disadvantage is that you don't have the training that a post PG person has. So you would want that training. To get that training, you can always opt for a lower post. Yes, you are eligible for ST3, but you're also eligible for core surgical training post. So apply for core surgical training post and you can get that training in the UK. And I feel it's easier for you to get a core surgical training post than it is for you to get an ST3 post if you are somebody from India. I think so. That's just my opinion. Numarikna 550 asked me 3 weeks ago, is training in surgery required for MRCS OSCE, or can we just give it after MBBS and after MRCS Part A? Yes, you can just give it after MRCS Part A and just with MBBS. Mishkadzia 2920 asked me 13 days ago, hello sir, can you please tell that is it possible to pass Part B without having deep clinical knowledge as an MBBS graduate after passing Part A? So you can understand why I made this video. So yes, you can pass MRCS Part B without having deep clinical knowledge. How? By taking coaching. That's the easiest way. There are many coaching options available for MRCS Part B. For MRCS ENT OSCE, there is Dr. Osama Salim's Don's Master's course, which I took myself, and it made it very easy for me. But MRCS ENT OSCE is only there till February of 2026. So after that, you'll have to go for MRCS Part B, for which I cannot help you because I haven't appeared in MRCS Part B. I appeared in MRCS ENT OSCE. But I know that MRCS Part B has many coaching options which are available in India. I don't know if you're from India, but they will be available all over the world, I'm sure. Thank you for the questions. I hope I was able to answer them adequately, and thank you for checking this out. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching so many of my videos and asking so many questions. It really makes me feel like I'm playing some useful role in this world. Take care, bye bye, and as always, please don't forget to be awesome.